High in the cold mountains, a body was found in the ice. It was not a new body. This man had been frozen for 5,300 years. His skin was like old, hard leather. His eyes were gone, but his face was stuck in a scream of pure fear. He did not die a quiet death. He was running from something terrible. An arrow was buried deep in his back. The first person to touch this ancient man was a scientist. His name was Dr. Rainer Henn. He was an expert who studied dead bodies. He lifted the frozen man with his own bare hands. Dr. Henn felt the cold of a man dead for thousands of years. Just 1 year later, he was driving his car. He was going to a meeting to talk about the Iceman. His car crashed, and he died. The first modern man to disturb the body was now gone. This was not just a sad end, it was the first sign. It was a warning from a very long time ago. Another man helped find the Iceman. His name was Kurt Fritz. He was a mountain guide. He knew the snowy peaks better than anyone. He showed the scientists where the body was hidden in the ice. He was a great climber, always very safe. But soon after, he was leading a group in the mountains. A sudden wall of snow, an avalanche came down. It buried him. He was the only one who died that day. These were not just sad accidents. A pattern was starting to show. 2 men, so important to finding the Iceman, were now dead. Something was wrong. It was like a spider making a web in the dark. Each death was a new, sticky thread, and every single thread went back to the frozen man in the ice. The terrible cold from that mountain did not stay there. It began to follow the people who woke the Iceman from his long sleep. It was a chill that no fire could ever warm. The third person to feel the cold touch of the curse was a newsman named Rainer Holzel. He wanted to show the whole world the amazing thing they found. He thought it was just a story. He took his camera up the tall, cold mountain. He filmed every moment. His camera was the eye for everyone watching. It saw the team pull the old, dark body from its icy bed. He showed the world the Iceman's face for the first time. His movie was seen by many people. They were all amazed. But just a few months later, Rainer started to feel very sick. A strange illness grew inside him very fast. Soon after, he was dead. The next victim was Helmut Simon, the hiker who found Ötzi in the first place. He felt a strange connection to the man in the ice. It was like he had found a long-lost brother. After a long time fighting in court, he was told he would get money for his find. To celebrate, he went hiking alone. He went back to the same cold mountains where he found the body. He wanted to see the place one last time. But a great storm came from nowhere. The snow and wind were a monster. No one could find him for days. When the search team found his body, he was frozen solid. He was in the same twisted pose as the Iceman, a perfect cold copy. This was not just bad luck. This was something else. It was a direct link, a terrifying message sent across thousands of years. The curse was real. It showed that the past is not dead. It is not even sleeping. It watches us from the shadows. When we dig up its secrets, those secrets can reach out and touch us. They can leave a cold, dark mark. The curse was now spreading. It was like a sickness you could catch. Dieter Warnecke was the man who led the search team. He was the one who found Helmut Simon's frozen body. He saw the terrible copy with his own eyes. He saw how the mountain had made another Iceman. Just hours after Helmut Simon's funeral, Dieter Warnecke clutched his chest. He fell to the ground, dead from a sudden heart attack. There was one man who stood against the fear. His name was Professor Konrad Spindler. He was the main scientist studying the Iceman. He looked at Ötzi's body for years. He was a man of science, not spooky stories. He laughed when people asked about the curse. He told reporters it was just silly talk. He called it media hype, something made up to sell papers. He felt sure that the deaths were just sad but normal events. He even joked about it. He said people would start blaming him next. His words hung in the air, a challenge to the darkness. But the old ice held a power that did not care about jokes. This is the most terrifying part. The curse came for the man who did not believe. Professor Spindler was told he had a very bad sickness. It moved fast. Soon after, he died. His confident words became a chilling, final truth. The cold did not stop there. Dr. Tom Loy was a scientist who looked at the smallest parts of the body. He found old blood on Ötzi's tools. Just after he finished a book about his work, he was found dead. 7 deaths. All of them were people who touched the Iceman's world. Scientists say it is just a strange set of events, but the chain of death is too neat. It feels like a plan made long ago. It makes you ask the real question. Who was this Iceman? He was not just a hunter lost in a storm. Tattoos cover his body. They are not for art. They are on special spots, places that old healers used to stop pain. He had tools that were not finished. He had an arrow in his back. Was he a shaman, a man of old magic, running from an enemy? Or was he something else, a sacrifice meant to keep an ancient anger frozen in the ice? Today, Ötzi lies in a special freezer in a museum. Thousands of people stare at him through a small window. They see a piece of history, a body saved by the ice, but they do not see the shadow that stands behind him. The story of his curse is a stark reminder. The past is not a safe place. It is not dead. It is just sleeping, and it does not like to be disturbed. The death of the last scientist brought a strange quiet. For years, the story was filled with accidents and bad luck. Now there was only silence. The curse seemed to go to sleep, but the fear it left behind was wide awake. It waited in the cold mountain air. Today, Ötzi the Iceman is kept in a special museum. He rests in a dark room. The room is very, very cold, just like the ice that kept him safe for so long. He is behind a small, thick window. People can look, but they cannot touch. It is a prison of ice and glass. Through the window you can see him. His body is brown and dry. His skin is pulled tight over his bones. You can see the hole where the arrow hit him. His face is frozen in a silent scream. He looks like a man who knew his end was coming. Some people wonder if the curse is truly over. They ask if a wall of glass is enough to stop an old anger. Or maybe the Iceman is just waiting for someone to forget the story, waiting for someone to get too close again. The story has changed the mountain. People who hike there say they feel watched. In the museum, visitors feel a deep cold that has nothing to do with the room. They stare at the body, and for a moment they feel like the body is staring back. The fear is a ghost that never leaves. There is one last strange thing about the Iceman. His skin is covered in dark lines. These are tattoos. They are not pictures of animals or symbols of power. They are simple lines and crosses placed on his back, his knees, and his ankles. Scientists think the tattoos were a kind of old medicine. They were put on the places where Ötzi's body hurt. It was a way to fight the pain of a hard life. But some whisper it was more than that. They say it was magic, meant to protect him from something dark. But what if the curse was never his? Think about the arrow in his back. He was running from someone. Maybe Ötzi was not the monster. Maybe he was the victim. Maybe he was carrying a curse that was put on him by the person who hunted him down. He was a real man. He lived a life 5,000 years ago. He walked the mountains and he felt the sun. And he died afraid and alone, with an enemy's arrow in his back. That is a sad and human story. And now his body is an object in a cold room. His peace is broken forever. Perhaps the curse is not a dark magic. Perhaps it is just the anger of a spirit that cannot rest. An ancient man, stolen from his mountain grave, who only wants to be left alone.